Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I had some extra time today because we published the spawn chunks early, so we're back in Satisfactory. If you're new, my name is Joel Duggan, and we play Minecraft and Satisfactory quite a bit on this channel. And I was having fun doing the decorating and the lighting here in Satisfactory yesterday, and I wanted to kind of pick up where we left off, and maybe even make some plans as to what's happening with our motors and stators and rotors in that order. So we shall see what's up. For now, though, we need to go back down and see if there's anything that needs to be polished up in that aluminum section of the factory. If I'm going to be spending more time here in Satisfactory, I want to try to divide my time as best I can between doing this cool decorative stuff and the actual production lines and all that. So it looks like we're still short on some aluminum, so we may actually look into what's happening there and why we're only at 75%. We're obviously low on ingots. There might be a mistake somewhere, not really sure. So in through here, we've got basically everything done. I think the stairwell feels pretty good. That's the outside wall. That'll happen later. All of this feels pretty good. I've got the power sorted out here. That might move. Obviously this needs to be done, but that's going to be... I have to figure out what's happening here first. And then the other side... that's nice and sealed up. And then I added this last night, and this feels like a pretty smooth transition. I don't know if I'm going to keep this here. We may have to come in here and tweak some things, so I'm going to leave it open for now. And I guess the next thing would be, how are we going to decorate this room? And are all of these at 100%? They look like they are. I don't see... did I see a yellow light? Yeah, there's a yellow light here. So it's not getting enough scrap. So that's a production from downstairs issue. So we will look into that. And then if I go back downstairs... I should try to hook up some hyper tubes in here. That would be fun. Wonder if we can hook it up in there somewhere. I feel like that would be possible. What's back there? Just that. Oh, I think we could probably do that. Is there power nearby? Sort of. That could be fun. And then outside, I really have not thought much about how we're going to design the outsides of these places. I obviously want it to look like Devastator and have some cool kind of shapes and stuff like that. But the closest I've come is just changing some of these front gates to be a little bit beefier and a little bit more angular. And I can't really do that with this one. At least... not in the state that it's in now. We could do it maybe with panels, but like it has to be... I don't want to expose the stairwell. So... maybe we could have... maybe this could stick out. You know, like maybe this could come out here a little bit. Although we don't have any angles for that particular width. We'd have to come out farther if I really wanted to do that. I could keep this narrow. That work? That looks like it's even. I guess I have to make sure they're facing the right way. Of course they're not. Oh, but then we'd have to move those. That's not bad. That feels very transformery, I think. How's it going, Dan? True Purple, good to see you. Scotsman UK, good to see you as well. And then we can go back with maybe some darker bits. That's all going to be hidden. I like the dark entrance. I think that's kind of cool. We'd probably want to adjust this. I guess we could have those come down inside. I like the contrast of the green up against the dark. I don't know if purple would look good. I think I prefer gray. If we could light that in a cool way. Well, I don't want it to go through that like that. We'd probably want to change it to be something that comes down inside, or we'd move it somewhere else entirely. I like this back and forth though. That's pretty cool. And this wouldn't be hard to switch out. Oh, except for it would be coming right down through our stairs. I mean, we could move the stairs to the left, I guess, and then move this. That's just annoying. Alright. I'll leave that for now. But I like the slight echo of this kind of shape as it goes up. And I feel like this is where like I kind of want to know what's happening here before I commit to what's happening in this space. But I feel like we could do a little bit of like just some sort of framing around the window. Don't want to do the whole thing, but I feel like some accents here and there could help this look pretty cool. Sometimes it ends up making it look less spacey though. The other thing that we can do, which is pretty cool, is freeze a hologram and then nudge it out, and you can do like depth changes, just like ever so subtle things like that, which is kind of neat. So if I could think of a shape that would work there. Then that could be fun too, right? Even just that is kind of cool. Not that one. I want that. And so it's the different color on this side, but then it remains green on the other side. And it has some depth. And we could do the reverse too. We could also recess things in, because as I've said before, I've had a hard time to try and figure out like how we can put things in here that make it look like there's some detail. And we've got this unnecessary wall here, and also that is not needed. So there's some cleanup we could do, and then in that process discover that we might be able to have something here where I think I wanted to keep that where it is. We could change this to be a full foundation. Won't matter if we're only seeing the side of it. Or we could add in something in here. I can think of something that actually has like maybe some lights on it or something, or anything that might look like gears or the insides of Devastator. So like when I look at stuff like this, I think about like in his elbows and kneecaps, kind of in his abdomen on the right hand side there. Stuff like that could be really cool. We've got some things in the game that have like that natural graded texture. Yeah, so stuff like combining steel pillars with, we've got walls. Even just to use a window and then not have it be a transparent thing. So like grabbing this reinforced window and putting that in this space, but sinking it back. Like that doesn't look terrible there. And then we could either block the windows on the other side, or maybe we could put lights behind them, which would be really cool. So like, what would be a good small billboard or several 2-meter signs? I think the small billboard might be more natural looking. We'll just face it the other way. Oh, I can't nudge that. Interesting. So I have to build a wall first? And then put the billboard on it? Those are upside down too. I guess that must be for most signs. So we could have lights along there like that with a shape to them. It's kind of fun. I might want to change either the color or the brightness. I thought that I had that sorted. Decepticon blue light. Purple dark maybe? It's a little bit better. It's hard to get it the right depth of color, but then the right brightness as well. Maybe we'll go down to like a 2.5. It just seems to be the same no matter what I do. It's a good time of day to be doing this too, because you can see what it looks like. A little on the subtle side. We've got other kinds of windows too. Yeah, I feel like I'd want more narrow beams of light. If you're looking for purple highlight, maybe encase the vertical conveyors in a purple box to make them seem like stripping. Purple light, maybe encase vertical conveyors in a purple box. Don't quite know what you mean. Okay, the River Cat. Thanks for the lurk. Appreciate it. Something like that would be cool. Oops. You know, it starts to get there after a while, which is fun. can delete those. So that could be some fun stuff we could start to work into the outsides of the buildings. I definitely want to work on the depth. I know that it's very flat. And the cool thing is, like, at this point, we could move things in a bit. We could create some ceiling bits if we wanted to. And that could be fun too. Did I do that right? Yep, there's the depth there. I mean, it's really subtle. You're not going to see it unless it's daytime. But I think that looks really cool. The fact that you can see the edge of that there. And I don't know, maybe we end up doing something dark along here as well. Oh, that feels very, all of a sudden that starts to feel like modern, you know, Earth design. Trying to go with Cybertronian stuff. I like this at least. That part's fun. So maybe we can try and move things around inside a little bit. We could potentially have all three of these come out in the same spot too. That's not a big deal. Let's go see what our aluminum production is doing. I've got some stuff in here that I don't have to creatively make any decisions. I just have to fill things in. That's at 100%. That's a good sign. 94, 74. Weird that the ones in the middle are struggling. So it's just 2. And it's not short on material, it's the export that's the problem. That means that the units across from them are doing low. Yeah, so this, what's your problem? This is going out fast enough. There's certainly more than enough coal. So it must be the water? Because it's getting enough of everything else. Yeah, it looks like the water gets up and then it eventually stalls because it doesn't have enough room. So our concrete guys are not sucking in enough water. I wonder if I need to just change the bottom pipe. I wonder if I didn't put the right number of pipes in there. This is 120 per minute. So that's times 9. That's 1080, right? Yeah, you know what? I think I need to go and change the pipes. These are okay as Mark 1, but I think this cumulative pipe here in the middle at any given time has to be bigger. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. So hopefully all that paint is not on the floor. Can I? Oh, I can rip this up easy enough. Okay. We'll just take out the floor here and I'll try updating the pipe to see if just a simple fix will change that. So that has to be 120, and this has to be 120, and this has to be 240. Right? So maybe we just have to take these and update them. It's still only a 600 pipe, so it won't hold the full 1080, but the 1080 is getting also pumped into these machines too, because they need 100 per minute. So unless I segment this, because that's something else I could do, I could also create another pipe along here and then have it rotate around. That could be it too. So that's at 75. That's at 100. That's at 100. So it's just that one. This one here that's doing the extra. That's low. Now it's at 77. Yeah, 73 and 95. Just these two in the middle. Dania MC, hello. Well, that's good. I mean, like, we're real close. I'm okay with only 2 machines being in a whack. I mean, I want it to be none, but it's better than several. And it's the same across the board. So these two are maybe the ones that are trying to feed this or something. And this is the one that splits. So how much water do we need down here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 500 has to be down here. And then 500 has to be down this way. But the flow rate is not up there. And these are putting out 120. So 1, 2, 3. That's 360 or 5. And this needs more. So that's 180. 2, 3, 4. So this needs 580. So this needs almost a full 600 pipe. So if I could load 6 of these in one direction. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the one, no, that's not the one I'm splitting on. And then this would be 360. 2, 3, and that needs 500, so that doesn't work. Wait a minute. Do I have the math wrong on this? It's 1080 water, right? Where's my aluminum production? Yeah. 120 times 9, 1080. One refinery is at 180%. But that should mean that we have 1080 on the water. Because I've got 580 and then 500, and that makes sense. So I guess I'm just having a hard time balancing where the water is going to get them to the right machine. He's almost up at 100 now. How's this guy doing? 79. Was it 75 before? Mistakes were made. It's past Joel's fault. Yeah, that's fair. So it seems to me that it's probably this valve situation. So this is putting out 120. And we need 500 down this way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this needs to do 100 in that direction, but then only 20 in that direction. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. These are 120. So 1, 2, 3. That's 360. This is 480. So this needs to send 20 down this way. So what if I took this and changed this to 20 and took this and changed it to 100? So that's the 120 coming out of that pipe. Going in separate directions. And that means more should be getting to this. Right? Alright, we'll let that rock and roll for a little bit and see if that helps. And in the meantime, we can continue up here. Because I like this idea of this hole with the lights, I think we're just going to carry that on through and do it on each one of these and have it all be filled in. So we'll do that while we're waiting for that to sort itself out. And I think this is just... yeah, it's just a half foundation. I mean, that could be a whole foundation unless I need to be... need to leave the space for any reason. No, we should be good. So, oh, wait a minute. Let's just try this for now. I don't think that's 4. I think it's supposed to be 2, 2, 4, and 4. So what we could do is change this to 2 meter. And then we do 4 meter. And we could either do another, like a 2 and a 2. That might be the easiest thing to do. Do a 2 meter here. And then do a 2 meter full foundation. That graphic is wrong. And that way we're not like, we're come down a little bit in here, but it's not going to be like a full foundation in our face. And that way we don't have any weird seams up here. Because over here, I did this, and there's an odd seam right there. But I have to do it that way because of what's happening down below. That's That's its own thing. I think, anyway. I'm going to double check that too. But I feel like that works. So we can come across here and just do 2. Oop, not like that. You really can't tell. Cool. That looks good. And that's already there. So that just needs to be turned into a 2-meter foundation. Connect it. I was watching Construction's playthrough, and he had the same opinion that I do in that it's so weird that we don't have half walls, even though we've got half foundations. See, that was a smelter shutting down behind me somewhere. Heard it turn off. So that seals that up down to the next level. T30, make sure you look up the new specs for this game. They've changed it recently, and the minimum specs have increased because of the switch to Unreal Engine 5. So be sure you double check that. But also, be sure to add it to your wish list on Steam if that's where you like to play your games, because it goes on sale fairly often. I mean, I think it's worth the purchase price. I definitely think it's worth the full price, but if you're on a budget, as a lot of people are these days, then you can absolutely pick it up on sale. Alright, that's excellent. And before I do this with all these lights, I'm going to make a blueprint for just the light, if that's even possible. I don't know if that's possible. That's a 4-meter light, or 4-meter sign. That's the longest one we have. So I'm curious, can we just create like a floating sign as a blueprint? We'll call it... Actually, this is not going to save anything because I have to put down something first. So let's do, I guess, a wall first. And I'll grab a sign. Get it as low as I can. But also, I can't bump it back. Right, but I can bump the wall back. So... I'm putting it on foundation, so maybe if I just put foundation down? Because that is on the line, whereas the wall... Yeah, that goes over the line. So I want the sign on the foundation. And I can delete the foundation. Don't know if that's the right positioning. I need more quartz anyway. Leaguer Gaming, good to see you. What's up? It's a long hypertube. Now, where do I keep the quartz crystals? Right there. Ah, so that is farther back. Okay. So I can't get it any lower. It does not appear. I think if I did it on the actual ground, I could. And that I can move. But it's not on the same sort of situation. What about... I did that. Can I then attach a sign to the side of that? Can there. But it faces it the other way around. I can't turn it. Alright. We'll try that and see what it looks like. I don't know if I have like an actual red color that works for this. I think I need to go with actual like proper red. I feel like the 50% is pretty good. We can always mess with that later, and then if we find the one that we like, we can come back to the blueprint. So, mission 2, matte sign. Red runner. 4-meter sign. Actually, I should probably call it 4-meter red light. Four-meter sign. Mission 2. And Matt. And I guess we could just do design. Other equipment parts. That's too bad that you can't do symbols. That would be better. Obviously, we're going to choose red. And we'll save the blueprint. And see if we can use that again. The problem with the blueprint designer is that that little space off the ground, it remembers that. So if I go to place that blueprint in the world, it puts it above the ground, right? But that might not matter. As long as I can put it in all the different spaces. And I'm in blueprint mode. So I could place one sign and then tag this onto the others, I guess. Yeah, that's tricky. See, it's connecting to the bottom of the snapping windows. I really want to get this so it's lower. And it looks like I should be able to do it with... I wonder if I added... If it's half in the floor in the designer, it's going to look weird, but it might come out right. They do this thing, it's very strange, where things bury themselves half inside of other things. Oh no, I can't do that because of the object clearance. So the blueprint designer goes like a little bit below this. Because if I choose a blueprint here... Oh no. Guess it's just a weird visual glitch. See, that doesn't feel like the bottom, right? Like, that to me, that feels like the bottom is lower. Yeah, that's going into the, that's going below the thing. That's snapping to the bottom of that plate. What if I put in a 1 meter foundation? Could I snap to that? No. I don't need it to be super flush like that. It would just be nice if it did that, right? So how do I get that? Yeah, the snapping segments are different, right? It's going up by a full segment. What about if I had one of these? Oh. I think we have a winner. Now if I do this. So I'm holding, oh, I didn't have to hold control, but you can get that all the way down. That's in the middle. And now I can actually just call up that blueprint, plop that here, copy the sign, paste it, delete that, and then save the blueprint again. It shouldn't be this hard. This kind of stuff should be really easy, but for whatever reason they don't give you the control. It's still not the right height though. I mean, I could make the sacrifice and just raise the whole thing up by a little bit. That's fine. For the ease of placing all these signs. It's just so strange that it's giving me this half increment that I didn't have before. That's really weird. Because I think visually it would be cool to hide this little seam, but I can't seem to do that. What if I use that same sign? So bizarre. I mean, I'm okay with going just below this, right? That works. That achieves the same thing. And I was thinking that this could be higher anyway. Because if we make this consistent with what we have in those other parts, then this should be a 2-meter foundation. And this should be a 2-meter half foundation. And if I did that, I think I would want this on that section. Weirdly, you can see the seam here, but you can't see the seam up there. I don't know why it does that. But if I can do this with the blueprint, that's the right level. You gotta remember that you gotta use the blueprint and not just eyedrop the sign. And this way, I don't have to go around and set all the lights manually afterwards, right? That there's just one and done, right? And then down here, same thing. And if I switch my selection tool to blueprint, I can just grab that. And then we'll go down like that. So it's a little finicky, but I think that solves the problem. Thanks for the heads up, Dan. Appreciate it. I'll take a look and see where we're doing for daylight here. I'm sure it's getting close. Well, I can't see it yet. Normally when the sun is actually visible on the horizon. Yeah, there it is there. I'll take a break when it gets dark. But thank you. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of all of this. because they were a different red anyway. And then switch back over to blueprint mode. Now if I switch this to normal mode, yeah, it still doesn't want to snap onto the actual... So I'm not snapping to the sign. I'm just holding down control and it's snapping to the foundation. And it's right up against it the way that I want. But how is that a thing? Because that didn't snap. That was a Joel mistake. I really hope I don't make my machine explode. All these lighting updates. Although I guess I'm playing in regular mode, so it's only for screenshots that I turn on these as actual light sources. There, now from below, this looks pretty sick. T30, yeah, it's 55 minutes in about 5 minutes, and you're right, it's weird, but I think they did that because it's meant to be it's meant to be more of a daylight thing. So you're not stuck in the dark for another hour, you know? Like, I think that's the whole purpose. Okay, I can stop holding control. That's good. I love that you can see the green reflection of the holograms on the walls. Alright, so that's one of those done. It is handy screen breaks. I like the idea. And the thing is, it's not actually a night cycle. It's technically it's another sun, I think is what they said in one of the dev streams. Now, I need to figure out where this is going to go. Where's the seam? It's so hard to see. That's 4 meters. Is that right? Yep. Okay, cool. Once I get one, we're good. We're golden. It is challenging dealing with the floatiness of the hover pack, though. Oh, right in the middle of the click. Autosave. I can't remember when it started happening, but when the save started to get more complicated, we've had some pretty hilarious pauses in gameplay when the autosave happens, in that I'll be like in the middle of a build, or like there was like a monster attacking me or something, and it's just like, oh wow, that's a really unique, just like pausing Netflix when there's an actor talking and it ends up being this really awkward position, you know? So we are on the outside. I'll double check that. I think that's how I did it. Yep, so the seam is at the top on the ones on the bottom. Oh, forgot to be in blueprint mode. Oh, so it's the top one that requires no control. Yeah, it's lining up with the bottom of things. I mean, we still do it, just tricky. So this is requiring us to hold control to snap to the blueprint, whereas before it was snapping to a proper spot on the grid. It's got something to do with the bottom of the blueprint that you can see that it has like an extra area on the hitbox. But that actually came together pretty quick. I'm going to get rid of that just briefly. That's a smarter way to play. I hope I don't run into the object limit on this save. I don't do like mega factories, so to speak, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Oh, plates. Maybe it's a fix-it experiment. The world isn't really pausing. It's your perception of simulating reality. Maybe. Who knows? Thanks, T30. Yeah, the reflections are fun. Wait until I turn on the global illumination. The idea was we're sending everything up to be smelted, so I wanted it to look like it was being melted, you know? That was the plan. So when I turn on global illumination, it looks pretty slick. And these are pausing again. Like, I don't know why these are stuttering. Shouldn't be. That one is facing the wrong way. Hover pack woes. I say that, and this build would be impossible without it. Absolutely impossible. I shouldn't say that. It would be possible. It would just be not fun. In the least. Getting impatient. Cool. So that's that. And I think with the exception of now putting the floor back, that's almost this whole thing designed and done down here. The ceiling is done anyway. How are we doing for production? 100%. 100%. 100%. That's good. So maybe it was the pipe capacity that was the problem? I mean, it makes sense. Simple mistake is usually those that trip me up. I just failed to see how, if it's everything's 100%, why there's a stutter upstairs. I think this is going to be the first time we've seen all 18 of these at 100%. We did it. Success. Mark that on the calendar. Aluminum is complicated. It's taken me months to figure this out. Weeks on the latest update, but I tried it before and I couldn't get it to work. So are you... Yeah? Does that mean all of these are at 100%? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. What about the problem child? The overclocked individual? So close! Dang it. I should have checked him last. 100%. Anybody else just really, really want this to read 100%? Maybe after the break, it'll be 100%. Okay, so that makes sense in terms of everything down here working, but what doesn't make sense is why this is slow. Maybe they have a backlog? See any yellow lights? I always find it tricky with smelters because they have like an orange light here, but this is the indicator light you have to look at. See, that's dangerously low. For one of the first machines, it should have a lot more in it. And it only needs 30, right? 60. So it can't be slow because you can't get slower than a Mark 1. It's outputting 30. This is all Mark 1. And that's all running. I kind of hope by the time we're back from a break or at the end of this stream that this will all be running at 100%. Because if these are all going, that means that some of these struggling constructors over here with our casings, they should be going pretty good. This is never going to be a full belt, but this, yes! Jamming, no gaps. I think we are just about there. Is there a mod available you can give for what? The most important part to aluminum is having a 1-to-1 production, but once you figure out, it's pretty easy. I got 1100 bauxite production. Never had a hitch. So I was bringing in 1350 and I upgraded that to 1950 and we only need 1800. So that's what's getting all of these guys. And the 1-to-1, you're right. It's the one machine to the one machine, and that's what all these are doing. Straight in one-to-one. That's a good call. It's a good call. What mod were you looking at, T30? Is the donation link in my bio not working? It should be just a quick PayPal donation. T30, you should be in the Discord, and there is a support channel as well. Can't click it on the phone. Check the Discord if you go to the Discord. And thank you ever so much for looking into that. I mean, that's really, really kind of you. But yeah, if you've got the Discord, then those links. Twitch, don't. It's not you. Twitch is just really inconsistent across platforms, so that's part of the problem. There we go. T30 Drifts donated $3.17. Thank you ever so much for the support. That's amazing. That's like an extra bite of pie. 3.17 instead of 3.14. The Discord panel below stream links to Patreon at Discord. Oh, is there some buggy stuff going on with my panels? Thanks, Leaker. I'll look into that after stream. If anybody in my Discord wants to send me a ping, like set me an @ reply or something, leave me a note. In the... I mean, really general is fine, but I would say in the Town Hall channel, be like, you know, at Joel Duggan, check your panels. Send a DM. DM is good too. Thanks, Leaker. Appreciate it. So it looks like we are getting dark. 99. So let's, while it gets dark, let's turn on global illumination so we can see what's happening here. Also, I can fix this by changing this to coated concrete. Gotta have the shiny reflective floor going. And I'll quickly change over. So we're gonna need more lights in here for sure. But if we switch to global illumination, and then we look at our new smelter melting. Like, it looks like lasers. And it lights the whole belt. Like, the whole thing turns red, right? It does look a little bit like Christmas. With the green lights from the machines. And then from up here, it looks just as cool. It's almost like the aluminum scrap is being preheated before going in there. Maybe we can find a way to light this red as well. That would be kind of cool. Neat. I unfortunately think a train ride with these settings on would be pretty chuggy. I haven't tried it, so we won't risk it right now. Sad face. I wish I could play with those settings on all the time. I get like 16 frames a second, so I can't do that. If you're new to the channel, though, I take a break once an hour, and it is roughly that time. I'm a little bit past that because we started off off the night cycle. But you get to ride the break train, and I get to refill my water. And don't forget to tell friends that we're streaming, because it's a great way to grow the channel. Personal recommendations. I'll be right back. So I'm glad that that's all working. Oh, you're very welcome, T30. You're very, very welcome. A lot of fun for me. So now, I'm gonna go check the, we should be up to snuff on the aluminum sheets as well. And this place is gross looking. I like this floor level belt thing. It feels very futuristic. So it looks like we are indeed up to snuff on this. Yep. We are good. Now, I'm not going to check every one of these machines. I'm just going to assume that because we are 100% downstairs and 100% on the other side of these machines, that these are all working as intended. I don't think I need to go through and check every last little one of them. So we should be good there. I am going to briefly close this in. Some of this might change later, but I want to know where my limits are. Oh, it's here. Doesn't have to be there, but that's currently where it is. So that's getting power from there. I can do this a little bit easier. Where is the wall here? Let's do it over this way. These are all temporary hypertubes anyway. I bet there is an easier way to do that. Yeah. That's good. And then I don't know where that is going or coming from. Oh, there it is there. We don't need that. Try to tidy up a little bit. This is all from the early construction of this floor, I think. Okay, Now some of the... Oop, that's a weird animation. Some of this is actually the outside wall. No, I think it's all inside. So I'm not sure what I'm doing here on this side, but I was thinking about what I might want to do for windows, and I like this idea of having like some downward sloped windows along there, but where I put them is going to be probably dependent on this outside design. Plus I've got to think about where they line up in here. I don't need that. So I like the door where it is because when you come up the stairs here, you enter in and you look at this, which is cool. So I like that focus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course. So maybe 2 windows that are decent size. So 1, 2, so it'd be like this. So 1 over. So it'd be that space there. So that's not centered above the door. So maybe I'll just do 1. And as long as that is a decent space from there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Total Eclipse coming in with the crazy raid. Thanks so much. Holy smokes. That's amazing. Let me get somewhere cool looking. Mike D. Canadian, welcome in. This is our now 100% efficient aluminum production. We just ticked over to 100 today. I had some pipes that I had to update, and everything's now working. Lizard doggos are evil. I can neither confirm nor deny that. Total. What were you up to on stream? I'm assuming Satisfactory. Was it more Fixmith stuff? It's going very well, Total. Thank you. Yeah, great. I recorded a podcast earlier, so I did the spawn chunks this morning. And then I got it published early, and we have a snow day here in Nova Scotia, so I decided to kick up a stream, and we've got an autosave coming in, so this is perfect timing to chat with y'all. Thanks for all the follows, folks. Wow. Can we see the logistics floor? Yeah, absolutely. Right after it stops saving. I've got 2 podcasts total. The first one is called The Spawn Chunks, and that is about Minecraft. It is, I'd say, a pretty popular Minecraft podcast. So, thespawnchunks.com, pretty easy to find. And or on your favorite podcast app. It's on YouTube as well. And I also do the Citadel Cafe, which is about sci-fi and fantasy entertainment. The Spawn Chunks is 5+ years old, and the Citadel Cafe is 12+ years old now. We just turned 12 in November. It is a big raid, T30. It is. So thanks very much again for that, Total. Looks like you were working on Fixmith stuff. Very cool. Very cool. So as I mentioned, this is our production floor for... There's a gap for aluminum parts. No. We're at 100%. I'm not sure what's going on. And the production floor, someone wanted to look at, is all hidden underneath. It is very busy, yeah. But it's my full-time job, so I'm cool with that. So here is all of the aluminum ingots coming in. Everything is sent down the middle. And then it's looped back up around. So right here, all of the casings are looped around and sent on the floor. And all we did for this, actually, do I still have a blueprint designer? I can load up the blueprint and show you the slice. And then same thing here. Casings or sheets are looped up in through here, and they pop out there. And then the copper comes in that side. It's all pretty standard underneath. It's nothing too crazy. But it's all coming outside here and flowing into our main bus. So at the moment, I think I'm going to be changing where these are coming out because they go through this design. This was empty before today. And so now that we've got this kind of happening on the outside as we begin to model the outside, I feel like I have to move these either inside the wall or maybe they'll come out like here. I don't know. We can send them anywhere. It's totally fine. But they're connecting to the main bus down here. Yeah, there's the casings and there's the sheets there. Mercutio, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, folks, if you are new to the channel, I stream and podcast full-time, so full-time content creator. I believe the same as Total. I don't think you have a podcast, do you, Total? But yeah, I've been doing podcasting for quite some time. Streaming is more like 5 years for me, and only been full-time for about 1.5 years, combining with podcasting. So somebody wanted to see the production floor for the aluminum. So we're going to be closing some of this up because we now know that everything is flowing and working correctly. So there's all the bauxite coming in under the floor, going into the refineries. And the refineries there send everything into the scrap refineries. And this is the fun thing we just finished up designing. The design of this hole in the roof, which is how the scrap gets up to the smelters on the next floor. We just did all these signs with a blueprint today. It's really finicky when you try to get a blueprint to lay flat on the ground. Like my blueprint for this sign, like it took a long time to get to there. And the hitbox is like in the middle of the floor. It's really strange. But it works. And that's where we are now. No, we don't have a back on it, but it gets so dark in here until I figure out the lights. So the next step in here is going to be to finish up this stuff. Close up little things like this. We're going to leave this exposed, but I'm not sure what we're going to do for the colors. I don't know if I want to make it black or if I want to make it concrete or what. And then this stuff is actually going to get closed up. Like that. So you're not going to see any of that unless I decide to do it with glass, but glass I find just hides so much you might as well just leave it empty. So that's going to be the look for this. And then we'll push this forward. And I think we've got more concrete exposed over here too. Yep. So yeah, for anybody that's coming in, JoelDuggan.com, very easy spot to get all the different things, podcasts that are currently running, podcasts that are over. I did a show called Comics Coast to Coast for 5 or 6 years where we interviewed comics creators. It was really, really fun. And that's all available on the website as well. Well, available via iTunes, of course. So when we finish up floors like this, this is where I struggle with Satisfactory and like trying to think about how I'm going to design the logistics of staircases and player traversal. This is going to be glass, so we can fix this again. Same thing down here. Oh, I had those going the other way, didn't I? Crap. I wish we didn't have a cross beam in those. And these are the right way. Okay, cool. And anybody that's coming in that has not been in this save before, what we're trying to do is model this after the Transformer Devastator. So we've got all this reference imagery. I've got this up on a separate monitor. But I attempted this long before we had all the cool parts that we do now. So I'm going to make this a lot larger and a lot cooler. Because now I can do shapes like this. You know, I can put signs behind windows and light them up. I can do, you know, have like little extrusion bits and layers. Like I'm really looking forward to adding some detail to what are essentially just the flat, rough sketch walls for everything. I like these. I like this kind of idea. I might make them fancier. But you can see like a lot of our floor production has this like cascading vertical belt design, and I need to do some more lighting, and I really want to work on like electrical rooms and stuff, especially now that we have priority power switches, because it makes things so much easier for us. Still learning how to handle this. I find the bus is tricky to handle. And the other thing that we need to do here, which we have not done yet, is in the world we're making motors, stators, and rotors, but we're not doing that here. We're doing that at my starter factory, which is way in the north. That's the space elevator. So my starter factory is like way up here, right there, early factory. And that's where we're making the early essential parts. And I haven't moved everything down to Devastator yet, which is where we are now. Where do those buses start and end? I'll show you. I need to take a look at everything anyway. So I'm in the process of like updating the design, because it was like this rough idea, and you'll see it when we look back at the whole thing. So here's where all the buses start, underneath the train station. The train is delivering almost all of the goods. There are a couple of things that are local. So we've got concrete and copper over there. I think that's more copper up there. There's 3 iron nodes there, and they're just being routed underneath the train station. And then everything kind of comes out here and starts going into the main bus. And you can see the difference here with the early Satisfactory pieces that I started working with back in like 2020 when I started this. And then now we've got angled pieces and different shiny materials. And so I'm trying to kind of mimic some of the shape language that we see in Devastator, right? It's like his thighs and his legs were kind of like the main inspiration for that shape. I need more color. It's pretty gray. I think I need to add like purple and green to the base to get a better look. But then you can see like this just looks so tiny. So what I want, this whole triangle piece, I think I'm going to make that much, much, much larger. And it'll kind of like go over the roof of the left and the right wing of everything. And you can sort of see the footprint. It just gets bigger as it gets farther west. It just gets wider and wider and wider. And I guess we'll go this way. So for anybody in my chat, we've rated Total Eclipse a couple of times. But if you haven't already, please go and follow Total. And follow him on YouTube as well, because he's got great tutorial videos. and really fun Let's Plays. Some fun projects happening with Fixmas, of course. And it's all good. It's a really fun community, I find, Satisfactory. So here we've got the same sort of design with like some of these angles that you saw me working with over there. But this is an early factory that I had, again, going before I had these parts. So I'm trying my best not to undo things and like rip stuff out and redo it. I'm kind of like saying, okay, I'm going to move forward. I'll accept what I have built before and just try to design around it in the future. But then places like aluminum where we're farther along, I can think about the design before that. And then this space here is where we're going to do motors and stators. Not using the power towers. I am not in here because, again, I have all of the power hooked up for this place before power towers existed. Power source is the Megatron power facility, and that is a 400 strong fuel gen power plant. We won't go all the way there. I'll just show you from here because you can see it. You can 100% see it in the distance. So I've got, I think it's 16 wings on the power station. So that is got 3 or 4 oil nodes, I think. And it's doing diluted fuel with oil residue and blenders. The blenders are in the heart of it in the middle. Actually, you can see them on that little kind of like second floor. The base is all refineries. This next step up in the lower third there is all blenders. And then all of the, you can see them, all of the fuel generators are up the top. So no nuclear. This is generating 60,000 plus megawatts, I want to say. I'm slowly starting to get organized. Yeah, 60,000 and change. And so we are there. I mean, we're getting close to halfway, but we're not bad. The reason we've got a lot of this fluctuation is our early factory has some coal production, so we still have some power coming in from coal, and that's kind of generating the 1100-ish up and down. That is pretty steady. There are some fluctuations, I think, but a lot of that has to do with just getting the liquid that high up, and that was just me not wanting to build a boring power facility. It's diluted fuel, so not turbo fuel. It's diluted fuel. That's how I got so many off of the one, not one node, but like several nodes. There's, how many are there? 4. So 1,800 crude oil. That's what's powering basically my entire world right now. So what do we want to do next? I guess we should look at where we might want to do stators. I also have to think about Caterium. So this is where a lot of our copper is being produced. Because early on we got the pure copper ingot recipe, so I decided to use refineries. But yeah, this is a pretty seamless transition. Like, we don't really need... We could go inside as well. And I think I've got this mirroring what's happening over on the other side. Not quite. So we could avoid that end there. I wanted to make this exact, so we could have some more room over here is essentially what I'm getting at. So if we needed to walk down here, we could. And then here, I can't decide if I want to put refineries down here for Caterium, because I've got the pure Caterium ingot now too. Pretty sure, yeah. Got all three. Keone with another raid. Thanks so much. Welcome in. Mike the Canadian says that's what I was working with on my but my 1800 with turbo fuel only gave me 215 fuel generators. Yeah, that's why I went with the diluted fuel. I looked it all up before I started building it, and it was a ton of work. Like, it took me months to put that all together. It's still not done. It's functioning, but it's not decorated. As you can see, that seems to be a theme. I think what I want to do is, I know I've got Caterium in a mine that I can bring in. What do I want to do for... What am I bringing in for copper here? I know I've got a sign somewhere. Right. 600 per minute to all clad sheets. That's not happening. And 600 per minute to main bus. That is not happening. What's happening is we only need 60. And then add another one. I do this just for notes for myself. And then so that would be 540. Why does... Oh. Extra hyphen. So we've got... What? 10, 11, 1140 copper that's just not being used. I don't need that sign anymore. So that's just not being set up yet. It's being sent underneath here, and it's on the main bus. That is currently stopped. What's happening there? Probably not hooked up to overflow would be my guess. Nope. Splitter. Splitter is not being nice. Now, does that go anywhere is the next question. Now it's being mixed up with my all-clad sheets, and it should all be being sunk. Okay, cool. So one of the things that I've run into with this factory that's a problem is that while I'm setting it up and getting it going, until some of this stuff is being consumed, I have to sync all of it to keep everything running. So I've got this kind of array of awesome sinks here at the back that are kind of grinding everything into dust, and it's not going to be this heavy. Eventually it's going to be a lot lighter because we're going to be making things out of aluminum, like batteries and heat sinks and all that kind of stuff. And I need to start sorting out like a sorting system as well. How are you copy pasting settings recently coming back to Satisfactory? Just Control C and Control V. You have to be outside the sign. Do I have a sign nearby I can show you? Yeah. So this is like your middle mouse button kind of like pick, right? So you pick up the sign, right? And then you just look at the sign, and if you hit Control C, settings copied, and settings V. It also is great if you do that in a blueprint and save it as like a white light, and then you don't have to do that every time. You can just, you plop it down and it's already lit. You don't have to do a double click. I find there's a lot of things that I've been trying to do to reduce the amount of clicking that I've been doing in the game. Could always use a short train loop to buffer to get throughput stats. Oh, you mean like get a train loop going here? I've got throughput happening on the stations down there. Some of them are right, some of them are not right, despite me knowing what's coming in. So I had 1160 for copper, and all of my recipes for stators and everything else are going to be in assemblers. So this is, I have the alt recipe. We're doing steel and cable. And then for stators, we're doing just the normal recipe because it's steel and cable. So I've got cable being made right up there. That's good. And then motors, I think it's just stators and rotors. I don't have any alt recipes for it, as far as I know. And I don't think there's an alt recipe that's appealing for motors. Let me check. Electric motor. No. Do not want to do that. Rigger mortar. I can't see myself doing that with crystal oscillators, but I think the 2 and 2, this is just straight up easy to do. So that should be good. And then the recipes for rotors. This one. And so all of our steel, if I have my, I think I've got my rotors planned out. I don't have my numbers ready, but I think I have. Yeah. So we're going to have to do the wire for both of the rotors and stators. The steel foundry is right across the bus. So we've got extra steel coming in. And it's more than 800. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's going to be a lot more than that. But I think this is only bottlenecked by either my copper production or my steel pipe production. So I just have to make some plans as to what I'm going to do with steel pipes and make sure I'm not kind of overdoing it or underdoing it. I always find that's the biggest problem with Satisfactory, is that I'm trying to think for the future, but I don't know the numbers. And if I didn't have the wiki, then I wouldn't know where to go. Is this a dedicated factory or your main base? This is a dedicated, this is both, I guess. I did a starter factory, and then I did a couple of little satellite projects, and then I quickly decided to do something cool and big and got into the whole transformer themed. And so this does everything. It starts with iron smelting is on the left, copper smelting is on the right here, and then as you get farther along, it gets more and more complicated. So we've got as far as aluminum, and we are currently making heavy modular frames up here. This is not the final look, but this is the final function. The machines will stay in this position, but all of this design could change. And then we're making, can't remember what it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 times 2.83. So 22 and a half. And so we'll probably use 20 of them, and then I'll send the other 2 to my storage. So, and the reason why I haven't done anything with the storage because I need to move it higher. So there's been a lot of like almost getting it right the first time and then needing to revamp some things. But I think all of my copper wire production, which is right there, I think all of that is being used in stitched iron plates because I'm using that alternate recipe. I'm not using screws at all. No screws. Screws. Not dealing with it. And 1200 minute stitch plates. And then these are being used in cable. Out of building, not on bus. Is that accurate? I feel like the cable's on the bus now. Sometimes I forget to update my in-game signs. Yeah, that looks like it's going somewhere. I think they are just going into the garbage chute, would be my guess. Yeah, so right now, cable and copper sheets are just being sent. Because my copper sheet production is just whatever I'm making for my inventory. I'm not actually making any circuit boards. Those circuit boards and computers are happening back at my starter factory. And not in any great numbers. It's just straight up like 2 per minute or something. Deaverman, thank you very much. It's not been heartbreaking. It's just been, I'm used to long projects. So like my Minecraft world is 6 years old. It's a server, and I've been working on a medieval town in that for 3 years and change. So I'm used to like long projects. Yeah, this is only doing like 50 per minute. So that like all this is doing is just filling up a box for me to be able to make pipes. Yeah, okay. So what I think I would do is I do have a little bit of room here, but not a lot. I would probably take that copper that we're currently sending on the main bus. We showed that. I think we can see it. Where did you go? Those are wire. I think it's underneath the coal. Yeah, you can't quite see it, but there's copper ingots going on to the main bus somewhere in there. So what we'll do is we'll bring those up here. We'll make wire with them. And we'll send that wire on down to the stator and rotor factories, which will be roughly on that level. And then motors will probably be on the next level. But I never know how much of these to make. Does anybody have like a, you need a lot of motors bit of knowledge for Satisfactory? Like, I'm keen on like the frames, modular frames, heavy modular frames. But yeah, like the motors and stators, I never know. Normal wire or something like fused wire. I don't know if I have alternate wire recipes. Let's check. I've got iron wire and regular wire. I don't think, I mean, I've got copper coming out my ears, so I'd be doing just the regular wire, which is 15 to 30, which is a pretty good ratio. DB's COD, you just started, so I've got 1,100 hours in this save almost, and I've got, yeah, I've got another 400 in other saves, so I've got about 1,500 in the game. It doesn't take long to get going. Consistency. I mean, it helps that over the last year or so, streaming has been part of my job. So I mean, I have the excuse to put the time in. Yeah, there's the ingots right there. Autosave starting. So I think I'm gonna have to run some numbers before I can do the motors and stators, which I won't do now. But it's good to know that the copper is there, and the copper, the room for copper production is there, because this is full. Like this goes all the way up to the top floor with smelters, and I have not needed that over there because we did not at this time have pure iron ingots. So pure copper ingots really saved me a lot of smelting floors to just have everything produced on this floor. And you can see it's also before I had all those cool building parts where I could make this look really cool, and I could still do it. Like I could still change this to be more like Transformer vibes, you know, and create some cool vertical buses to take that copper upstairs. We've got these cool little holes. I like skylights a lot. So we've got these cool spaces that we could send some of that copper. Could come like there it is right there, right? So instead of going down there, we could bring that upstairs to the next floor where we could make our wire. And I've already made the mistake of putting wire on the main bus, and I'm not doing that again. So we'll just send it right next door. For numbers, it helps to set an end goal for your world and then work plan backwards. Yeah, that's a good call. That's what I did with heavy modular frames. That's what I did with heavy modular frames. Because with heavy modular frames, I looked at what they were used for, and then we just kind of like worked backwards from that. So this is the heavy modular frames. I actually need to update the sheet, but this is all being produced correctly now. The hard part was getting the overflow stuff sorted. How do I get up here? So yeah, I think the next phase will be figuring out that copper. And once I know where that's going to go, I can work on the exterior of this building. I think that'll be helpful. Thanks very much for the follows, guys. Appreciate it. And Hioni, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked with the conversation. Thanks again for the raid. Hope you had a fantastic stream. And folks in my channel, by all means, go check out Hioni and see what they were up to. Yep. I think there's just going to be a lot of deleting coming up. I think I'm going to have to delete this. I'm going to have to delete the top floor here to start to wrap my head around what space is available. That's going to be tricky. All right. Well, I think this is where I need to go because my stomach is telling me that it's dinner time. And I've been working all day, so it's probably a good opportunity to take a step away. If you are enjoying this kind of stuff, though, as many people have already done, please feel free to follow here on Twitch, as I miss my Hypertube connection. And I stream Thursday through Sunday scheduled, but I've been fitting in extra bonus streams as I've had more time during the week. And as the weather here in Nova Scotia in Canada is becoming more and more wintry, I've been doing less things outside, so more video games happening. If you want to follow me on social media, it's Joel Duggan, very easy to find. By all means, check out things like the Spawn Chunks podcast and the Citadel Cafe podcast. They're both free. If you like nerdy stuff like Satisfactory, I think you'll really like the Citadel Cafe. And if you like Minecraft, I think you'll very much enjoy my conversations with Pixel Riffs, who you should follow as well. Check out Pixel Riffs on Twitch and Pixel Riffs on YouTube. For your Minecraft and other video game stuff. He plays some Final Fantasy and other things like that too. So this is where we are with Devastator. We're getting close to slowly making it look a little bit more like a Transformer, but it will take some time. It's always a toss-up between spending the entire stream working on aesthetics and working on the factory stuff, the fun balancing, puzzle solving of Satisfactory. So I think what I'll do is in between streams, I'll run some numbers, and that way, depending on what we need to do next time, I can either start the machines for the stators and the motors, or we can do more design work and stuff like that. So now that I have nudging in the game, it just makes everything so much easier, so much cooler. I'm really looking forward to doing some nice stuff with that. But if you'd like to support the stream, if you'd like to join the Discord, things like a Prime sub or a Tier 1 sub, or you can check out the Patreon page at patreon.com/JoelDuggan. That gets access to the Discord. I give people a heads up when I'm going to go live. It's also a great community, and I'm going to be sharing some of my blueprints in there as well, just because of the lovely support that I get from my community. I think that was a fun reward for them. And I'll be back at least on Thursday, but if not, probably Wednesday. But keep an eye out on Twitter and keep an eye on the Discord for that kind of stuff. Let me just double check to see who is streaming so we can send you on to hopefully someone else playing Satisfactory. Barring that, I will send you to someone playing Minecraft. It looks like Minecraft might be the target. Unless anybody in chat has a quick recommendation, I'd be happy to entertain that. Preferably family friendly, but doesn't have to be. I would like to send you all to construction, but I think construction only streams on YouTube, not Twitch. Let's send everybody along to Tadpole Milk. Tadpole is a fun Minecraft streamer. I think you will very much enjoy them. If you are going to hang out, just use the hashtag JoelRaid, and hopefully I will see you all back here next time for some more Satisfactory. Thanks so much, folks. Bye for now.